My name is Sophia. I had been paying the bills in that house for 2 years. Not Patricia, not Tiffany. Me, 3 jobs, 7 days a week. No breaks, no excuses, just work. Every morning, I worked at a small coffee shop downtown. Every afternoon, I cleaned office buildings. Every evening, I worked as a waitress until my feet felt like they would fall off. And every paycheck disappeared before I could even look at it. Rent, electricity, groceries, water, medicine, everything. I paid for all of it. The only reason I never complained was because of my grandmother, Grandma Rose, the woman who raised me after my parents died, the woman who loved me when nobody else did, the woman who reminded me every day that kindness still mattered. But kindness doesn't pay bills, and it definitely doesn't make people grateful, especially not Patricia Bennett, my stepmother, or Tiffany Bennett, my stepsister. As far as they were concerned, I existed to work, to earn, to provide, nothing more. That morning had started like every other. I arrived at the coffee shop before sunrise. The city was still waking up. The streets were quiet. The air was cold. And across the street, sitting on the same wooden bench he always occupied, was Ethan. I smiled before I could stop myself. For months now, Ethan had been part of my mornings. Nobody knew him. Nobody spoke to him. Every day he sat on that bench, staring at the massive glass building across the road. Always serious, always angry, always carrying the weight of the world on his shoulders. The first time I brought him coffee, it was because he looked miserable. The second time, because I felt sorry for him. The third time, because I wanted to. Now it was simply our routine. I crossed the street carrying a paper cup. Ethan noticed me immediately. He always did. Morning, he accepted the coffee. You bought this again. You say that every day. Because you buy it every day. I rolled my eyes. And you drink it every day. That almost smile appeared. The one he tried so hard to hide. My favorite smile. Fair point. For a few minutes we sat together, the city slowly coming alive around us. It was my favorite part of every day, the only part that belonged to me. Not Patricia, not Tiffany, not my jobs, just me and Ethan. You look tired, I laughed. I am tired. You looked tired yesterday, too. I was tired yesterday. He shook his head. You work too much? Somebody has to pay the bills. His expression darkened. He knew enough about my home life, enough to understand, enough to know I wasn't exaggerating. Before I could say anything else, my phone buzzed. A message from Tiffany. Buy milk. We're out. I stared at the screen, then laughed. What? I showed Ethan the message. His jaw tightened immediately. You've been at work for 20 minutes. Exactly. She couldn't buy her own milk? I stood. If Tiffany ever did something for herself, the universe might collapse. That earned a genuine laugh, a real one. The sound surprised both of us. For a moment he looked younger, lighter, almost happy. Then the moment passed. I checked the time. I need to get inside. Ethan nodded. See you tomorrow, I smiled. See you tomorrow. I had no idea how much those words would matter. By evening, everything had changed. Grandma Rose died just after sunset. I was holding her hand when it happened. One moment she was there, the next she wasn't. I don't remember leaving the room. I don't remember the drive home. I only remember the silence, the awful silence. The funeral happened 3 days later. After that, the house felt empty, cold, wrong. Every room reminded me of her. Every corner hurt. I thought Patricia would at least pretend to care. I was wrong. 3 nights after the funeral, I returned from my restaurant shift just before midnight. The moment I walked through the door, I knew something was wrong. Patricia and Tiffany were waiting in the living room. Neither looked sad, neither looked tired. They looked excited. Patricia gestured toward the sofa. "Sit down." I stayed where I was. "I've had a long day." "This won't take long," Tiffany smirked. "Oh, I think you'll like this." I already didn't. Patricia lifted a photograph from the coffee table. A man, gray hair, expensive suit, at least 60 years old, maybe older. "What is this?" Patricia smiled. "This is Harold Whitmore." I stared at the picture. "And he wants a wife." My stomach dropped, slowly, painfully, like a stone sinking through water. No, Patricia's smile disappeared. I didn't even finish. "You don't need to." Tiffany rolled her eyes. "Don't be dramatic." I looked at them, then back at the photograph, then at them again. "You want me to marry him?" Patricia folded her arms. "He is wealthy." "I don't care." "He can provide for you." "I don't care." "He can provide for all of us." There it was, the truth. Finally. I laughed, not because it was funny, because it was unbelievable. "You already accepted money, didn't you?" Patricia didn't answer, which was answer enough. "You sold me." Her expression hardened. "Watch your tone. You sold me." "I secured your future." "No." I shook my head. "You secured yours." Patricia stood. "Enough." "No." For the first time in years, I refused to back down. "No." The word echoed through the room. Tiffany stared. Patricia stared. Even I was surprised. "You will marry him." "No." "You owe this family." "I paid for this family." The room went silent. Patricia's face twisted. "What did you say?" I stepped closer. "I paid the rent." Closer. "I paid the bills." Closer. "I paid for groceries." Closer. "I paid for everything." Patricia slapped me. The sound echoed through the room. For a second, nobody moved. Then I slowly looked back at her. My cheek burned. But something inside me had finally broken, or maybe healed. I wasn't sure. "I still won't marry him." Patricia stared at me, then suddenly laughed. A cruel laugh, a dangerous laugh. "Fine." She marched upstairs. Moments later, she returned, dragging my suitcase, then another bag, then another. My heart sank. "Patricia!" She threw everything toward the front door. "If you won't help this family, get out." I blinked. "What?" "Get out." Tiffany smirked. "Finally." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "I paid the rent. And your name isn't on the lease." I looked around the house I had sacrificed everything for, the house I had kept alive, the house Grandma loved. "You can't be serious." Patricia opened the front door. Cold air rushed inside. "Leave." My eyes filled with tears, not because I was afraid, because I finally understood. They never loved me, not even a little. I picked up my suitcase, my coat, my bag, everything I owned. Then I walked outside. The door slammed behind me, the lock clicked, and just like that, I was homeless. I stood there for a long moment, looking at the house, waiting for somebody to open the door. Nobody did. Eventually, I turned away. I started walking. I had nowhere to go. No family, no friends, no home. Except, my thoughts drifted toward Ethan. The only person who had ever asked if I was okay. The only person who noticed when I was exhausted. The only person who treated me like I mattered. Without realizing it, my feet carried me downtown. Toward the coffee shop, toward the bench, toward Ethan. When I finally arrived, I looked across the street. The bench was empty. My heart sank immediately. No Ethan, no familiar dark jacket, no blue eyes, nothing. I sat down anyway, trying not to cry, trying not to think. Then I heard it. A groan, soft, painful. coming from the alley beside the coffee shop. I froze, then stood. Ethan? No answer. I moved toward the sound, one step, then another. My pulse quickened. The alley was dark, almost completely hidden. Then I saw him, lying on the ground, motionless. Ethan! I dropped my suitcase and ran. His face was bruised, his lip was bleeding, his clothes were dirty. For one terrifying second, I thought he was dead. Then I found a pulse, weak, but there. Relief nearly knocked me over. Using napkins and bottled water from my bag, I cleaned the blood from his face. Minutes passed. Then his eyes finally opened. Blue, confused, tired. Sophia? I laughed and cried at the same time. You idiot. His lips twitched. You found me. You were unconscious. I've been worse. No, you haven't. That earned a weak smile. Eventually he sat up, slowly, painfully. I noticed his pockets had been turned inside out. His wallet gone, his phone gone, his watch gone. Mugged? He nodded. Looks like it. I sat beside him. Neither of us spoke for a moment. Then he noticed my suitcase, my eyes, my expression. What happened? This time I couldn't stop the tears. My grandmother died. His face fell, and Patricia threw me out. The silence that followed hurt more than words. Finally he spoke. You have nowhere to go. I shook my head, then looked at him. You? A bitter smile appeared. Apparently not. That made me laugh. Somehow, despite everything, I laughed. An hour later, we sat in a tiny restaurant eating the cheapest meal on the menu. One sandwich, one basket of fries, 2 cups of tea. I used almost all the money I had left. Neither of us cared. For the first time all night, things felt okay, almost normal. Then the waitress approached. We're closing. Reality returned immediately. We thanked her, finished the last of our tea, and stepped outside. The city was quiet now, the streets nearly empty. Cold wind rushed between the buildings. Ethan shoved his hands into his pockets, then stopped. There was nothing in them, no wallet, no phone, nothing. I tightened my grip on my suitcase. Everything I owned was inside it, which wasn't much. We stood there for a moment, just looking around. Then Ethan spoke. You should get home. The words hung in the air. Both of us froze, because there was no home. Not for him, not for me. A sad laugh escaped my lips. I can't. Ethan looked away. Neither can I. The restaurant lights switched off behind us, one by one, darkness settling around the street. Suddenly, the reality hit both of us. The food was gone, the warmth was gone, the restaurant was closed, the night was long, and neither of us had anywhere to sleep. I looked at Ethan. He looked at me. For the first time since we met, neither of us had an answer. Then I asked the question we were both thinking. What do we do now? Ethan stared at the empty street, the dark city, the endless night ahead of us. And for the first time, he didn't know what to say, because there was no home.